loan can't be. What I know is general thing, education loan is a bit difficult to get because of the rotation. Rotations are not actually considered as education, and in order to get an education loan, you have to see, like, show them something that you have enrolled at some college or something like that. But since rotations are not considered as college or education or any part of it, so it's a bit difficult to get, but it's not impossible. Different banks have their own rules for this thing, so you have to actually go and ask in the bank that what are their criteria and if they will be willing to give you a loan regarding this thing.
Yes.
So it
So
is not
Utkarsh,
possible.
as far as I know, they don't provide. Even I was going to the same conclusion where I know people, couple of people, like if you want to allow, like, if you want to get for setting up a clinic or, setting up a hospital, type of setting like that, you can get loan. But I don't think they would give you based on your need for doing USCE, because that is not a guaranteed money back to them, and you're not having a liability. As far as I know, that is how it is. And I think, Dr. Sharma, is that right?
Yes, it is right, because a lot of my friends who got their loans, they usually get personal loans based on different aspects rather than educational loan itself.
So it's not educational loan. So it's loan based on other things, like, personal reasons, as far as it is. So let's start the thing. Okay, one second. Okay. So I'm very, very, very happy to introduce Dr. Karan Sharma. He is right now a incoming family medicine resident in Good Samaritan St. Joseph Hospital, Long Island. And he's had um, a podcast which is known as Backstage IMG, where he's doing like episodes and helping IMGs. And his venture, he's a 2022 graduate, and he has 7 USCE experiences in different agencies through different ways. And he tells us about how he got these USCEs as well, and his LORs. He has 10 research publications and 10 awards in medicine. So let's welcome Dr. Karan Sharma. Hi, Dr. Karan. How are you?
Yeah, hi Rashmi, I'm doing great, and thank you for inviting me to the webinar.
Thank you so much
And
for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
So let's dive into the question. So as we discussed, we want to give out a smack estimate. And again, I'm going to call it an estimate, because not everybody's journey is the same, and not everybody's financial requirements, or this is just like a summary of the process, right? So how much we spent and how much we have based on our personal experience, we wanted to break it down for you and give you the estimate of how much it would cost. So how much do you think it costs for the USMLE journey, Dr. Sharma?
I think it will cost between $20,000 to $25,000 at least. That's for the bare minimum things that I'm considering. But it also depends on a lot of other things about the type of rotations you are getting, the type of flights you are booking, the type of places you are living. But 20 to 25,000 is the bare minimum that it will cost.
Yes. So now, coming to 25,000 USD, I know it might sound very steep, but this is considering a lot of things, right? So can you break down, like, how did you reach the 25,000 mark? Like how, like, how can you can break it down into, I know you wanted to discuss about like the STEP exams and everything in detail. So can you break that down a bit for us?
So I think it is advisable to divide the whole process into three phases. So the good thing about this journey is that your 20 to 25,000 you are not going to spend in one go. You're going to spend bit by bit. So after completing each step of the journey, you will have certain amount of time to plan for the financial aspects of the next part. So this is one thing. And broadly speaking, the journey is divided into three phases: preparation for the steps, and second is coming for the rotations in US, and then third is applying for the match cycle. So this is the generic background of the whole situation. And if you want to basically break it down, like from steps, then and for the steps, we basically what is required for to apply is step one and step two. But nowadays, since a lot of people say that step three is optional, but nowadays a lot of program directors often require it. So considering all the prices of steps as well as resource materials and everything, the total cost would be around, just a second, it will be around $4,000.
Yes. So now we're talking about like registration and examinations, where the ECFMG registration is going to be $135. Step one is going to be, if it is taken from India or like the countries neighboring, it's going to be 1155. So 1,155. Step two is going to be 1,175. OET is going to be $500. ECFMG certification is going to be $1,000. So the total amount comes around roughly to 4,000. Is that right? So this is for registration and
Yes.
examination. Yes.
Yes,
So now,
but the thing is that all of these amounts you don't have to pay in one go.
yes,
There would be at least, if you take step one, two, and three, there will at least be a timeline of 2 years in taking all the steps,
yes,
1.5 to 2 years. So
yes.
just keep in mind that when you plan all of this, for just taking the exams, you will be spending around $4,000 in the time frame of 1.5 years.
Got it. So this has been really nice. So this is registration and examination. Now coming on to preparation resources. So what do you think, and how much would a person spend on the preparation resources?
So I think the total a person can spend on preparation and resources, a lot of it depends on how much the person is going to use. It's very variable. So I'm going to
Yes,
talk about the basic minimum which is required as a basic minimum resources which are
yes,
basically needed to prepare.
yes,
So considering the like you have to solve the question bank, so UWorld is needed for all the three steps. Apart from UWorld, first aid step one is needed. UWorld will cost you around 40,000 rupees for 6 months. So considering all the steps for like all the three steps, it will cost around 12,000. Sorry, 1,20,000 rupees. And the first aid is 1,500 rupees. And you will also you be using some video sources such as BNB or a Sketchy. The price for boats and beyond is 21,000 rupees for 1 year. Then Pathoma, that is a very essential resource for preparing for step one. The price of Pathoma is around 9,000 rupees for a year. And then after you're done with your preparation, you will be using NBMEs for to just check how much you have performed. And the NBME price is like 5,150 for one NBME, but you will be given at least three. So the total price will be around 15,500. And then you will be spending on CMS forms also for preparing for your step two. So overall, the total price comes to 1,21,000 rupees.
yes. So this is breaking down in rupees, where you talked about step one. Step one, you have first aid and pathoma and the video resources. So all of that cumulative would come to around maybe 70,000 for step one. And then for step two, it's going to be you're going to do mostly UWorld and AMBOSS if some people like CMS forms and NDME. So all of these are very essential. So overall, again, step one, step two, step three, all the resources combined, it's 1,21,000 or something to that effect, right? 1,25,000. Next, coming to the electives. So how much, a lot of people are like very varied about electives, and what was your elective experience?
So my elective experience was, I won't say it was too good, but it was fairly good. But the only thing that actually bothered me during the electives was that going to the agencies. The reason being that a lot of agencies they provide value for money electives, but a lot of agencies at the same time they don't. The thing about electives is that you have to plan very early about where you go, where are you thinking of applying for the residency, and based on your application, you are going to rotate at that specific place. Am I audible?
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So you are basically going to rotate at that specific place, and that's how you should plan the electives and approach the doctors or physicians who are going to allow you to rotate since the moment you decide to go for electives. So you should start the planning for this thing around 1 year before or at least 2 years before, so that
mm,
you know exactly where you're going to rotate it and spend and save as much money as possible. But in any case, if you have not done that, it's not too late. You have to just find out the right agencies which give you value for money regarding this thing. So the basic things that you need to consider before going for any elective is the location of the elective, whether that program actually sponsors visa for the IMDs if you apply for the program, and the second thing, the quality of the rotations that they are going to provide. Now, working in US has taught me one thing, that you won't be compromising on the quality of rotations wherever you rotate. It's about the money that you will be paying for that. So the quality will be more or less same at every place. But if you are paying too high of a money at any particular rotation, then you have to be aware of this thing.
yes. So like again, so this a lot of the money goes in like electives and how like to plan your journey as well. So I know I have sometimes booked multiple flight tickets and canceled some in the last moment and all of that. So I think being planned ahead, as Dr. Sharma said, is going to be very important in saving the overall elective part of the money. So the again breaking down electives and how much it would take for the whole like going to electives. So the travel visa is going to be 165 USD. Correct me again if I'm wrong. Flight round trip tickets is going to be very much based on your plan. So I have sometimes booked tickets and cancel them last moment. So just be very very about. So that's going to be very something very personal. Cost of electives, like I would not suggest agencies, as Dr. Sharma said. plan something that is ahead, so you can get observerships, observerships for like crew connections, right? So those are the observerships that you're going to be aiming for, which make crew connections with the residents over there. You get to directly work with different, like, professors, and those different professors are going to give you LORs that are going to be so much more worth than agencies. But if you have to go through agencies, say like 1,500 to 2,000 would be probably the range per elective. You have malpractice insurance that is 300 a month, and the total for this, without including the travel that is based on your own travel, would be around $2,000. So am I right on this?
Yes, you're right on this. And Dr. Rashmi, someone asked a question in the group about
Yes, I'm sorry.
suggesting the agency's name, about which what agency charges more or less. But instead of pointing out name, what I would say is that there are any particular agency, they provide a lot of options for the electives, and all these options are of different price range. So you will never know looking at the profile of the any elective whether this elective is right for you or not. So when you basically apply for the elective and you go there and you find out that even though the quality of rotation is good, but it's not going to help you significantly in the match process, then you might be regretting it in the future. But what you can do before if you thinking of applying to any particular elective through the agency, what is the best way to go through it is to ask around on, like, if you don't have any people around you, approach people on LinkedIn and see how much, if they are going for an elective, how much they are paying for the same services that you are getting. Ask your recent seniors for what they had paid for it. So, for example, if you ask a senior who is like 5 years older than you, then if they are doing fellowship, then the prices might vary. But if you ask your recent senior, if you ask your colleagues, then you will know that how much people are paying for the same services you are getting, and then you can make the correct judgment about whether I'm paying the right amount or not.
Yes, yes. And the quality of the rotation, and also please be safe to the area you're going to, because I know there are a lot of areas in the US where you have to be safe, and you have to, like, we try to think that, living expenses, that we can probably save on some expenses, but we should always keep in mind that safety is always going to be a bigger concern for us, rather than, saving that money on that elective thing. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Karan. I think I muted you by mistake by muting
Yeah,
somebody
sorry.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So second thing I would like to suggest is that if you want an elective where there is value for money, you should always ask some questions before finalizing the booking. Few questions that are really important regarding the before going to the elective are asking whether how many days the elective would occur, like how many days in a week you have to go. Second, how many hours you will be working at. Will you be directly interacting with the patient or not? So another thing is like how, like, when will you be getting your letter of recommendation? And another thing that you can maybe ask whether the elective will be outpatient or inpatient. So these are some of the questions that you should be asking before booking any elective, because lot of times these things are very unclear when they are written on the websites. So once you know what is actually going to happen, officially nobody can lie to you and then fraud, like nobody can do fraud to you. If the fraud is done, then you can of course complain about it. But if you ask this before and then they get the answers for it, then basically you will know whether you are paying the right amount of money or not.
yes, that is very true. So, Dr. Sharma, can you shed some light on probably the living expenses while doing electives in USA?
So living expenses, of course. So one thing is for sure. So living in US basically comes like it has basically divided into two parts. If you are living in rural area, then your cost of living will be cheaper, but travel will be higher because they have no public transport there. If you're living in an urban area, your cost of living will be higher, but you will be saving a lot on transport. In rural areas, if you're doing your elective, then you might get a bigger room or a bigger house. But in urban areas, you might be like sharing the room with someone else. So these are the two things that you'll be keeping in mind. Another thing is that if you're, for example, majority of the people they do their lectures in New York City. So considering the example of New York City, if you are doing a lecture, you will get a room around between $1,000 to $1,500 an individual room. That's what the price is. And considering the groceries and travel and everything, it will be around $500 to $600 more, and accessories will be around $500 more. So it will be around 2,500 uh, per month, 2,000 to 2,500 per month. So if you're doing 3 electives, keep in mind that it will be around $7,500.
Yes. Now, again, applying to the application. So when we can come to that, I know, did we want to discuss that in this webinar, as far as I believe, applying for the
I
cycle?
think we can discuss about the cost of application thing.
Yes, 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 perfect. So, can you shed some light on the cost of application? And
So
I know, yeah,
So basically, for cost of application, you have to know that before even applying, you have to just pay the money for the token, which basically allows you to apply for the programs. So you have to take two tokens, one for ERAS, which lets you make your CV, and then one token from the NRMP, which basically lets you participate in the match. So the token for ERAS costs around $150, and the NRMP token costs around $85. Once you participate in the match, then then you have to send your college transcript to each and every program. So it is a one-time thing. You basically have to pay $80, and your transcript will be sent to all the programs that you have applied to. And then there is a program application fees. This year's program application fees has probably changed from last year, the upcoming match cycle. So when we applied, basically we applied for the first 10 programs, it was around $100, I think. And
Okay.
after that, it was like $23 or $24 per program, and then $27 or $28 after that. So basically, the total amount that it was coming for me after I applied to 200 programs was around between $4,000 to $5,000.
Yes, same. I applied for 235 programs and it was quite steep. It was around five because I applied two specialties, so it was 5,600 or $5,900. So that application and the whole thing, like applying for programs itself, was that much. So beside that, also like the summary of what Dr. Sharma told about the ERAS token being $150 and RNP 85, USMLE transcript being $80, and so that amount would come out to around $315. Now, talking about interviews, I know it gives a lot of PTSD with the word interviews and everything. So, how was your interview experience?
So my interview experience was fairly good. The only unfortunate thing was that my interviews were in person. Uh, so basically, if you're taking an interview in person, so consider the expenses of going there, living in a hotel, where basically you will spend at least a day before the interview will arrive there. So and then on the day of your interview, also you can't check out on time, so you have to get another day for the hotel too, because your interview will end in evening, right? So you at least you have to book a hotel for 2 days and then flight tickets to and fro back. So it will cost you, if you're already in US, it will cost you $500 per interview. But if you're taking the interview virtually, then it's the best. You can just sit at home and then prepare yourself and take the interview there on the Zoom.
See, Zoom was very comfortable, huh? Because you sit on the this thing in front of the computer and you're fine. But how much, like it definitely takes a lot of money, as you said. You have to prepare for two days and one night, and then you can't check out immediately because you have the interview. So your flight tickets and everything. So it must have costed you quite amount of money. Yeah. Okay. So did you have to pay anything by any chance, or did you like is your hospital doing it for you?
So I'm still in the process of paying. Uh,
Yes.
so I don't know if some payment comes surprisingly and I have to pay it, but till now I have paid around $500.
Okay. Okay. So like yeah, this was some premium processing and all of that. It was a lot of money, but yeah. So be ready for
Oh
that
no,
as
no,
well.
$500 I have just paid to ECFMG.
I forgot. You have to get the ECFMG approval also, no? Oh God.
Yes, so
Very
basically for J1, ECFMG is the one which sponsors your visas.
yes. So you have to go through this thing. Now the next big question is how and when to save money, and how can you
That
save
is
money?
actually a good question. And basically, I would like to discuss it like based on three phases which we discussed in the starting of this conversation.
Yeah.
So phase one about the preparation. One of my basically like genuine advice would be to like exactly know the amount of time that you will be needing to complete your question banks and review materials. Because so if you take the video courses like Boards and Beyond or Sketchy or Pathoma that you need 1 year before and start doing that, and you will know based on that how much time it will take for you to complete your UWorld, how much time it will take for you to do your NBMEs, and just get the UWorld for those amount of months, like 3 months, 6 months, or maybe 1 year also, based on how many questions you will be doing per day. Uh, the thing is, if you take a UWorld, like get a UWorld for 6 months and then you need to extend it, it will cost you extra money. So exactly be very well planned about this thing, that how much time you're going to spend on how many questions you're going to do per day, because some of you might be working alongside preparing for these exams too. So be very aware of this particular thing. Second, there is
Dr.
basically one
Sharma.
other thing like yeah.
Dr. Sharma, I'm sorry. The meeting will end in 4 minutes. I'll let you know when the 30-second mark hits. So if it's possible, can you rejoin the same link? All of you also please rejoin the same link. So we'll continue. We'll continue talking, but at 30-second mark, I'll let you know that this is when it's going to end. Yeah. So again, rejoin the
Okay,
thing.
okay,
Yeah, okay. Please continue.
got it. The second thing is, like I said about the planning aspect, also plan earlier when you are going to take the exams once you are done with one pass of the UWorld. Because if you're not planning it, then you will have to rebook the exams and cancel it. So once you cancel the exam, you won't be getting your money back. And if you postpone the exam, the ECFMG will charge you the fees for postponing it too. So this is also important. Second thing is networking. Why I say networking? Because the resources and the material that will you will be using, a lot of them are costly. So if you have friends or seniors who can share resources with you, it will be very important for you to like go through these resources and like in groups and everything. And not only you will be saving up on money, but you will be actively discussing with other people too regarding what you are going through. So this is the third thing that I recommend for phase one thing.
Yeah. Yes.
If you
So
need to
definitely.
add any other thing, Dr. Rashmi, I think you can go forward with it.
So yes, I've seen a lot of students, like even me myself. I postponed my exam for like the next like 3 consecutive months. So you get 3 months, and then you want to postpone it. They allow it once, but after that they definitely do charge, or the exam is like cancelled, and you have to pay the whole $1,000 all over again. So as Dr. Sharma said, don't make the mistake of paying for something that you don't have to. So if you all of these are unnecessary expenses, right? So you can plan out your study, like you can take a good 6 7 months for studying for the exam. You can plan out your exam accordingly. And even if it's like, I always suggest you, one suggestion that I would give is, if you're thinking you'll give it in June, do not take the 3 month period in from June. Take it from July. So that is what I've learned in my thing, because every time I know that we will lag giving the exam. So we will want that extra time. We'll have that last minute anxiety. So when if you're planning to take the exam in June, take the 3 month period from July.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
advisable to keep some buffer time.
yes, always keep buffer time. So that would be my advice for saving money. About UWorld, I know that a lot of people do also offline UWorld, and I have not had a personal experience with that. But a lot of my
I actually won't recommend that at all.
okay,
I know UWorld is costly and everything, but I won't recommend offline UWorld. The reason being that offline UWorld already has answers written besides the question.
okay,
So it is very important that you do questions without knowing the answers beforehand, and you
yes,
get the real feel of the exam too. The exam basically is very tough. So basically, if you get the constant real feeling of the exam, then you will
mhm,
be very comfortable while taking the exam for the first time. If you are like taking step one or two for the first time itself. But if you
yes,
are basically not, if you had not had the feeling of taking the exam and you have just an offline UWorld where the
mhm,
answers are just beside you, then it will be very difficult for you. Like, even though you know the material by heart, it will be difficult for you to get the real feeling.
yes, yes. That's also true. Like I've heard that as well. But
So
a
this
lot of
is a
my
type
students,
of exam where just knowledge is not important, but getting the feeling of the exam is also important
mhm,
because the long 8 hour exam and you need to know like how actually it is conducted.
yes, that's so true. So now we're going to log out and then log back into the same link. Yeah, yes,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
going to end. Thank you.
Uh, should be broadly discussed.
Yes, like openly discussed, because a lot of people have a lot of doubts on the whole, like how much does it cost? Everybody who's only rich can do it, and all of that stuff. And thank you. Somebody said grateful for this as well. Thank you, thank you. I do this because I want people to know that nothing should limit your dreams. You want to achieve USMLE. I don't think the financial aspect, like 25,000 dollars. How much is it in Indian INR? Um, how much would it
Around
be?
20 lakh rupees usually.
20 lakh rupees. So now if you wanted to do even like, post graduation in India, like if you wanted to do it in like A category seat, B category seat. So A category seat costs you around 4 lakhs a year in Andhra Pradesh as of now. 14 lakhs. So it's going to be 14 lakhs. And the journey is costing you, with all the electives and everything, is costing you 20. So you're investing, people think that, oh, it's going to cost a lot of money, but
Just a second, just a second.
no
I'll
problem.
I'll I'll just rejoin it in 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Just give me 1 minute. Just give me one
No,
minute.
that's okay. That's okay, Dr. Sharma. So people think that doing this is going to be like extra costly, and a lot of your limitations are based on the fact about the financial aspects. So first, when people think about USMLE, they think about finances, and that is why I wanted to bring up this topic, because I want you people to know that even though 20 lakhs is an investment that you'll make today for being a better doctor tomorrow, right? So that is the one thing. Then if you go on to B category, it's almost 12 to 15 lakhs a year. So that is going to be 45 lakhs for 3 years in postgraduate in India. In Andhra Pradesh, there are some colleges that don't even give you stipend. So you're not getting stipend, and you're paying them around 45 lakhs. It's just disheartening. So keeping that money aside for the USMLE journey, almost half of it, like say West 20 and West 45. So don't let money limit your goals of being like, a better doctor, a better financial aspect. Let me talk about my financial story. So the finances that I put were, again, the registration, exam fees, all of that is common for everybody. So the registration, exam fees, the preparatory material. There are some websites that have I was talking about my journey, Dr. Sharma. I was talking about how much I spent. So so the exam registration, all of that is going to be the same for everybody. So all of the cumulative money. I know Dr. Sharma and me are going to put up a post regarding this in like a post way. So all of you can see it on my page and his page as well. So the exam registration same. The electives that I did, the observerships, I did 3 observers, 1 through connections, and sorry, 2 through connections and 1 through university application. So the cost for me was $300 for 3 rotations. And I know everybody's journey is varied. Some people have to go through like agencies because of the time constraint they have, but I planned my
My
observership.
opinion regarding the cost of money is very different. Don't keep the objective of spending as much as less as possible.
Yes.
But instead think that whatever you are spending, you should get value for it.
Yes.
And the ultimate value is match. That's what the value is. It's not the LOR, it's not the quality of rotation, it's not nothing. It's ultimate value is match. Because when you apply, you will already be a certified physician back in your home country. So keep in mind that you will be knowing most of the things that a physician should. So when you apply, you need experience about the healthcare in US. You don't need experience regarding the healthcare itself because you already have that. But you just need experience regarding US healthcare, and that's what should reflect in the LOR, and the end result of everything should be a match. So either you are spending 10 lakhs or you are spending 50 lakhs. Make sure that you are actually getting the value for the money that you are paying.
Yes, that is very true. That's very, very true. Then after doing the electives, the whole 6,000 for the application and a bit more for the visa fees. So overall, this was my journey. My friend's journey who did a parallel thing with me. She did observerships in electives observers in agencies. So she had to pay around $2,500, $3,000 per rotation. So that was a bit steep. And the reason why I don't advocate so strongly for agencies or anything of such sort is because I know at the end of the moment, as Dr. Sharma said, maybe the value for the money you spend should be more. So even if you're spending more money, less money, mediocre money, make sure that you get the value for the money that you're spending. And the value, as I said, is a match. So, Dr. Sharma, how much did you like overall? Like, I know it's like a sensitive topic, but overall, how much did you actually spend for your rotations and your stay and everything? Like, just an estimate.
So my rotations are broadly divided over 2 years, to be honest. So I was not rotating for the whole 2 years. I was rotating 2 months, and I was then spending 2 months at my relative's place. So because I didn't get the rotations in line one after another, so I had a lot of gaps between my rotations too. So I would say that for the rotations that I worked in hospitals, when I went to agencies, I was at least paying $2,000 for it, and the outpatient clinics I was at least paying around 1,500 for it. So I did rotations at 2 hospitals where I paid around 2,000. And then I did 3 to 4 outpatients also. And then I did 1 inpatient rotation in Cleveland Clinic in Florida, which was reasonably priced at $800. And I had one of the best learning experiences there.
Yes, definitely. So all of this should be kept in mind. Now going on to phase 2. So can you go on to the phase 2 on how to save, like we talked about step 1, how to save up a bit more of money if possible in step 2?
So I will step rotations here. So starting from the very beginning, why I tell that plan rotations beforehand, because I actually tried to do the same planning beforehand, but our process was very stuck, like it was stuck a lot between COVID. So I couldn't get my visa on time. So first thing first, always have a ready visa in your hand before even going to the rotations or even deciding if you are in second year, third year, or if you plan to go to rotations after 2 years also, just get the visa now. The reason being that you don't know when the visa situation is going to change. If it changes for the worse, then you will be adjusting your rotations accordingly and then paying the extra amount based on your adjustment of the schedule. And another thing which helps you is if you get the visa earlier on to get the rotations where the travel in US is not that expensive. So if you come in the months of like winter months, December, January, or February, then the travel is not that expensive, so you will save a lot on flight tickets.
Yes.
So hospitals are always open in the US throughout the year. So planning is very important when you are coming for the rotations.
Yes.
So if you have planned the rotations in winter months and you have gotten the visa on time, you save almost like majority of around 20-30% of cost during the flight tickets as well as your stay also, because the stay of prices also go cheaper. Airbnb pricing and the student housing pricing, they also go cheaper during those months.
Yes.
So this is one thing. Second thing that I would say that, yeah, please go say.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to add to that. I was going to say, yes, the living expenses decrease during like winter seasons because, and also be aware of the climates. Note down where you're going to, what is the climate, what do you have to wear. So when you have to wear in like colder climates, if you have to buy stuff from there itself, it's going to cost you a lot more. So make sure that you have like food items that you can readily make, on the go, and you have like just try to prefer, because public transport a lot of try to prefer public transport if it is there, and just make sure also that you know your surroundings very well. You know where the police station is, you know where the fire station is, you know where to get help, you know where the embassy is. So these are the minimum things that you have to know when you're going to a new place, like especially for rotations. I know a lot of people take this lightly, but know where your police station is, like nearest police station, know how to access your maps, download an offline map, and like stuff like that. The safety precautions is very important as well when you're staying in the US. So that will also save you a lot of time and money if you use public transport. If you get your own stuff to eat and everything as well. Is that right?
Yes. And another thing is that why you should plan everything beforehand is because you can bring certain things on your own which you won't be needing in US. If you don't plan the weather thing, everything, then you will buy new stuff in US to like survive in that kind of weather. So it will also like cost you a lot of clothes and everything. And if you decide to buy accessories in US, know where the discounts are given.
Yes, and also like always carry like a travel adapters with you, because the travel adapters like the voltages are different and stuff like that as well. So just very
Another
simple.
thing that I would say is that it depends on person to person. If you can try to get a house, like if you're comfortable with it, try to get a house in sharing also if you're comfortable with it. Another thing is important that wherever you are, if you are in a popular, like good place, which is like a significantly popular place in US such as Atlanta, apart from New York, because New York, if you're there, you should travel in public transport only. If you're taking a taxi in New York, then you are basically not saving money at all. So if you are in Atlanta, if you are in Houston, if you are in a popular place, get an Airbnb or get a house which has easy commute by public transport to the hospital. So like get a house where there's only 5 to 10 minutes of walking distance to the bus stand, or like very easy, like 1 mile or 0.5 miles from the subway station. So these kind of things you should keep in mind while getting a house.
That is very true. Even in Kentucky, like the bus stop was right in front of my house, and if you have the University of Kentucky like observer badge, they let you ride for free. So you need to know stuff like that as well. So access free stops too. Like the public transport is free over there for people who are like go to the university. So like know your workplace, know your surroundings, know the bus system, know the map system, and a lot of times there are help desks and information desks where you can like ask for free stuff as well. Ask for free hours or free transport if there's anything, or one place to another place, how to walk there. If it is safe or not. So that would be also the thing. Now coming on to where else can we save? Is there any other place that we can save money?
So during application cycle, basically when you apply to the program, make sure that you research about the programs early on. If you're applying this September, your research about the program should have been started by now. If you are starting now, you are late for researching. Like, to be honest, like I started my research in July and I was severely late for that. So make sure that you start researching for the programs itself like around 6 months before when you apply. The reason I'm saying that I make few filters for the program. One filter should be the program should be sponsoring J1 visa for H1 visas. They should be sponsoring visas for the IMDs. Second thing is that the program should basically have at least 10 to 20% of IMDs. You can see it on in the list how many IMDs are there in the program. For the rotation, research the program for the match. Sorry, for the match, not for the rotation. I'm talking about the phase 3 of the preparation about the application process. So even for the rotations, you should know that you should go to the programs, prefer the programs which have IMDs in them because those programs should give you an interview if you have taken doing admission to IMD before. So know that the program should have 10 to 20% of IMDs. After that, open each and every program's website and see where those IMDs are from. Are those IMDs from your country? Are those IMDs from South Asian countries? Are they from South American countries? Are they from Canada? Are those IMDs from your country only but they studied in Caribbean med schools? Like a lot of times your med schools also decides where you are because the 40 Caribbean medical graduate has rotated in the same hospital itself for 2 years. Of course, they are going to get interview from that place because they have made their impression there. But since you're a new person, if you apply to that hospital, they might not prefer you over this Caribbean IMD, right? So this is something that you should go through the revenue list of each and every program that you are thinking of applying to. After all these filters, when you make the list and you filter the programs based on that, then you will be applying to like limited number of programs that are actually going to give you an interview. So be sure of like making this list and have a good filter system to do that.
Yes, definitely. So all of these points will definitely help a person, because when it comes down, there are a lot of people who apply to programs that have like if your YOG is like 5 plus, and it's clearly written on the website that they only accept YOG of like 2 or 3 years from years of graduation. So you're automatically filtered out. So they're very clear on their website itself. I know sometimes it works out for some people, but I think that is because of the innovative techniques that they use. Because the innovative techniques that they use, like a few people have spoken about innovative techniques that they've used in my prior videos, right? So all of those innovative techniques work, but otherwise there are filters. They're regardless, they're filters, and they're going to filter you out. So that it makes the work for the program director so much more easier to look at the things that are within their range, what they want. They're very specific and they know what they want, right? So I think keeping in mind, even I made a list towards the ending, but I don't know how, Karan, did you use that list? Did you use that list? Because honestly, I applied and I was like, okay, I did use the list when it came into like IMG. I put more than 30-35%, and that's where I used the list from. But I know IM and family medicine are like many. How many programs are there overall?
So for IM, at least if you apply, the programs that they claim that they sponsor visas are around 500.
Wow.
But the ones who actually sponsor it are around 300. And the ones who actually sponsor it and take Indians or like South Asian, if you reduce it, it will become around 200. Out of that, the programs, if you filter out based on your YOG, based on like other criteria, like whether those Indians are from Caribbean medical schools or not, and all these criteria, it will be around between 150 to 200. So you have to be very particular about your filter, and the filter should be a personal filter, not based on other person's filter. So for example, for Dr. Rashmi's thing, she kept the filter as 30-35%, I think. For me, the filter was around 20%. So for someone, it might be 10% also, but keep the filters. So it will help you reduce the cost and apply for the programs.
That is very true, because some people also don't go to the website and they don't read it. And when they don't read it, there are like points, like, some points that I've applied to programs. Like I have applied to programs where I would go after the whole math cycle ended, I went to the website and I was like, oh, this is the point. Like, this is a clear indication that I'm not into that, category. So they won't even see my.
Possible, if you want to save more money, approach the residents who are matched. There are a lot of residents which are there is one thing is American medical graduate. Then there are US IMDs. The US IMDs are the people who basically studied in they were born in US but studied in different medical colleges and outside US, such as Caribbean or Indian, but they don't require visa. Now, even if the person is non-US IMD, there are two types of non-US IMDs. There are non-US IMDs which require visa, and non-US IMDs which don't require visa. For example, there are non-US IMDs which are basically spouses or something like that. They don't require visa already. So you have to keep in consideration. It's not explicitly written on any program's website whether it is a non-US IMD which requires visa or not. They don't require. They will just write that this is a non-US IMD we have taken in the program. And now we have more than 20% of non-US IMDs. So it's possible if you can find that on LinkedIn, ask them the genuine question whether you are visa requiring IMG or not. So then you will actually know. That's why I said that start your research in March itself. So basically, you can approach everyone individually.
Yes, that's amazing. That's a very good idea. And somebody was asking what's a good way to network with USCE. For me, it was LinkedIn, and I like LinkedIn a lot. I like emailing, so I send around 300 emails for like 300-400 emails, probably 300 emails is what I remember. And I got back only response from one, but one is all you need, to be honest. Trust me. So you have to network through emails, either program coordinators, program directors, whoever emails you find, or LinkedIn is nowadays a good source. So make your resume and be like, when you message a person on LinkedIn, be like, this is my resume. I'm interested to like work under you. Can you please give me the opportunity? Whoever wants to help, in the end of the day, will help for sure. Remember that. Yeah. Is that something that you can relate to, Dr. Sharma?
Yes, of course. Ask them genuine questions. Ask them genuine questions. If they have time, they will certainly respond to you. Don't ask them directly if you are gonna like help me in this, just review my CV. Instead, ask them genuinely. Tell them where you can improve on the CV, or maybe like how much did they pay, so that you can get an idea. So that would be a better approach for any kind of questions you have about with any resident.
That is true. Because some people message other people and be like, hey, can you do this? Do this for me? Do that for me? No, nobody owes you anything. Again, as the same first webinar that I had, Dr. Hema was saying the same thing. She was like, nobody owes you anything. Just be kind, be humble, be sincere. Hope that they'll help you, and probably they'll end up helping you, right? So I want to open the platform for any questions. If anybody has, they can go ahead, unmute themselves, raise their hand, unmute themselves, and ask questions about finances. If you've not covered anything, I would love to cover your questions as well.
One thing, yes, I wanted to cover one thing. Actually, when you posted this thing on Instagram, I was the one who messaged, should we make a US bank account, or should we like get a forex card from India? So I was because I did both of those things. So one thing that this is something that is very important and should be discussed. So if you have a US bank account while you're rotating there, it will help you a lot, because US bank account cards work everywhere, be it gas stations or like small places, subway stations, while you're driving to train. But forex card may suddenly stop working, and you might have to rely on other people too during that time.
Yes, that's true. Oh my God, this was also discussed by Dr. Alam. Like, I think he wrote an article on it, and it's very beautifully said. And I'll link that article also to. He wrote about credit cards, SSN, and everything in American Psychiatry Association. So that article is also very nice, and I'm very proud of the work he does. Very proud of the work you do. And so no questions, is it? Everybody's okay? Let me see if I've missed something. Okay, somebody said my college has VSLO and I haven't really grasped what it is. Have you had experience with VSLO, Dr. Sharma?
So I personally haven't had experience with VSLO, but my friends have. VSLO basically, those colleges basically have more options for rotations, because certain colleges in the US only accept students from the hospitals which have VSLO back in their home country. So it's just that they will have more options for the rotations, and good hospitals to do rotations at. So definitely, if you have USMLE, you should have been that option.
Yes, before you get out of college, and this is for electives only, so you get like much better hands-on experience directly into the system of US. So ultimately, about finances in USMLE, it's going to cost around 20 to 25,000. The least I would say would be 20,000. The maximum that you could go around is 30,000. So keep always a range of $10,000. And
Based on 2024.
based on 2024, yes. If somebody's watching this in the future, just know this is based out of 2024. So, Dr. Sharma, it was so nice having you here. Do you want to shed any other light on any other thing? I know both of us planned we'll talk about.
I think I talked about most of the things I wanted to regarding finances.
Yeah.
But if anyone has any kind of messages, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I can answer you there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. Very interested. I know Backstage IMG will be a hit, and I'm very excited to come onto it. We've discussed that we will, but we'll do it in the future for sure. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for being here and listening to this. This will go on YouTube as well. So, hope we'll see you soon, Dr. Sharma, in Long Island.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.